morning finds my name, I'm already awake with the same old flame. Not fire that burns, but heat that stays, a quiet pressure that shapes my days. I move in shadows, calm and slow, carrying truths I'll never show. No crowds, no praise, no open hand, just promises I understand. Some walk light, some turn away, some trade depth for an easier way. But I was built for the unseen cause, for holding ground that others lost. This is the weight I never drop, even when my breath feels stopped, even when the night won't bend. I don't break, I don't pretend, I don't speak it, I don't shout, I don't look for a way out. It's not a crown, it's not a prize, it's the load behind my eyes. I've learned the sound of silence drain, the echo of control pain. Not suffering, not defeat, just discipline beneath my feet. I stand where doubt can't cross the line. I carry more than what is mine. What I protect will never know how deep the roots of duty go. I've seen the cost of letting go, of dropping weight you're meant to hold. So I stay firm, I stay aligned with the vows carved in my mind. This is the weight I never drop, even when my pulse says stop, even when the sky turns cold. I stay steady, I stay whole. I don't need them to agree, I don't need them to see. It's not weakness, it's resolve, a silent strength I never dissolve. If I fall, I rise alone, no witness, no throne. If I bend, it's just enough to prove I'm still unbroken tough. I don't wear this weight for show, it's who I am, it's what I owe. This is a weight I never drop, not for comfort, not for hope. I don't ask the world to care, I stand because I'm meant to bear. When the noise is stripped away and only truth is left to stay, you'll find me still unchanged, unmoved, holding what I always choose. No applause, no release, just honor in my peace. Dark blue sky, steady ground, I carry on without a sound. Ooh, no, no. Strength that doesn't ask. I learned early not to wait for permission to be steady. Not every road offers a sign, not every moment feels ready. Some strength is born in empty space, where no one answers back, where you decide who you will be without support or pay. I don't request the ground to hold or ask the wind to ease. I don't negotiate my weight with comfort or relief. I've seen how asking weakens spine when answers don't arrive, so I rely on what is mine to keep myself aligned. Some look outward for a cue, for approval to move through, but I don't pause to be confirmed. I act from what I've learned. This is strength that doesn't ask, it doesn't need a hand, it doesn't wait to be allowed or hope to understand. It moves when silence fills the room and nothing comes to pass. I stay upright, intact, composed, strength that doesn't ask. I've watched hesitation grow where certainty once lived. I've seen resolve dissolve when too much weight was given. A voice is changing every day to comfort dressed as truth. So I reduce the noise to one, the discipline I choose. I don't confuse resolve with pride or silence with disguise. I know the difference in my core between endurance and disguise. This is strength that doesn't ask for clarity or peace. It doesn't soften under doubt or beg the strain to leave. I don't need promise, sign, or proof to stay the chosen path. I remain grounded, clear, and whole, strength that doesn't ask. If I continue, it's by will. If I pause, it's to stay still. I don't hide and I don't bleed. I don't outsource what I need. I carry forward, calm and sure. Not loud, but durable. This is strength that doesn't ask. Not fearless, but aligned. Not untouched, but disciplined. And steady over time when nothing offers reassurance and silence fills the task. I stand exactly as I am. Strength that doesn't ask. No signal sent, no debt return, just dark blue calm, precise sunburn. I didn't wait, I didn't plead, I stood. And that was strength enough, and that was strength enough. Yeah, now we're strengthened up. I felt the pressure lean my way, suggest a softer path to take. Not force, not threat, just subtle cues, inviting me to quietly move, to leave my place, to ease the strain, to trade conviction for refrain. But I know what I came to guard, and I don't step aside. Some think standing means to fight, to raise a voice, to sharpen light. But I've learned presence holds more weight when it refuses to vacate. I don't need conflict to remain. I don't need noise to stake my claim. I stay because this ground is mine. I don't step aside. Some shift to keep the peace intact, some move to soften the impact. But I was never built to slide when truth requires me to reside. I don't step aside. When the moment leans, when comfort calls my name and tries to intervene, I don't harden, I don't hide, I don't dramatize, I stay aligned with what I chose. I don't step aside. I've watched lines blur with passing time, when staying felt too unrefined, when silence begged to be excused and stillness started to feel rude. But respect isn't always loud, it doesn't bow to shifting ground, it stays exactly where it's placed, even when patience is erased. I don't confuse restraint with fear, or firmness with being severe. I know the cost of letting slide what must be held, not compromised. I don't step aside when pressure asks for space, when the easiest solution is to quietly erase. I don't negotiate my core or drift to feel aligned. I remain present, still and clear. I don't step aside. If I'm tested, I remain. If I'm strained, I don't complain. I don't block, I don't collide. I simply stay where I reside. I don't need the world to see why this place belongs to me. I don't step aside. I don't step aside. Not for ease, not for reward, but because I understand what staying here affords. When the ground demands a choice and resolve is purified, I answer without movement, I don't step aside. Oh, no claim declared, no line revised, just dark blue comma, steady spine. I stayed in place and kept my form. Oh, don't step aside. I don't step aside. Don't step aside. Steady in the absence. Nothing arrived when I waited. No sign confirmed what I was owed. The silence stayed unmotivated, and still I held the road. No voice explained the distance, no answer filled the space. Just time stretching its resistance across an empty place. I've learned how absence tests the core more than pressure ever could, when nothing pushes anymore, and still you choose what's good. No urgency, no fear to fight, just emptiness and breath. That's where I learn what stays upright when nothing's left. Some move only when they're seen, some need response to stay aligned. But I was shaped for in between, for holding steady in the quiet. I stay steady in the absence, when nothing calls my name, when the world forgets to answer, and the silence stays the same. I don't reach for distraction, I don't ask it to explain. I remain where I committed, steady in the absence. watch momentum slowly fade when meaning wasn't fed. I've seen resolve begin to fray when hope went quiet instead. But I don't borrow strength from noise or wait for reassurance. I learn to make the staying choice without endurance. Since audience, I don't confuse the lack of sound with something going wrong. Some truths are only built and found when nothing comes along. I stay steady in the absence when no outcome appears, when patience stretches longer than expectation dares. I don't rewrite my posture or abandon what remains, and I let consistency breathe slow, steady in the absence. If I doubt, it's measured clean, not enough to pull me in. If I pause, it's not retreat, it's grounding without relief. I don't chase a missing sign, I stay present in the time. I stay steady in the absence, not because it feels complete, but because I know the danger of abandoning my feet when nothing gives me reason and silence has no face. I remain exactly who I am, steady in the absence. No sand, no echo gain, just dark blue calm, intact, unchanged. I didn't need the world to move, to prove. I don't move fast, I don't demand. The world bends slower when you understand. There's a rhythm in restraint I keep, a promise buried 6 feet deep. I've learned that noise can lie with ease, while silence carries gravity. I don't explain the way I stand. There's strength in quiet hands. I've held the line without a word when every doubt was clearly heard, not from the crowd but from within, where real battles always begin. I don't wear scars where all can see, they live beneath my composure free. No armor shining, no command, just strength in quiet hands. Some shout to prove they're standing tall, some break the moment pressure calls, but I remain controlled, aligned, a steady force, the calmest kind. There's strength in quiet hands, in choosing not to strike, in holding weight without demand, in walking through the night. There's power in restraint, in stillness that won't bend. I don't loudest voices fade when consequence arrives unplayed. I've seen control outlast the flame that burns too bright and dies in shame. So I keep my pulse below the skin, where discipline and truth begin. No audience, no reprimand, just strength in quiet hands. I don't confuse calm for fear or silence for retreat. I know exactly why I'm here and why my steps are measured deep. There's strength in quiet hands, in patience sharp and clean, in knowing when to let things stand and when to intervene. No rush, no wasted breath, no need to reprimand. I shape the world by holding firm with quiet, steady hand. If I fall, it won't be loud, no echo, no surrounding crowd. I'll rise the same restraining weight, unmoved by what the voices say. I don't seek control through force, I trust the weight of chosen course. There's strength in quiet hands that carry what is real, in grounding storms and making plans that don't require a seal. When chaos demands a crown and noise takes every stand, I'll still be here unchanged, intact, with strength in quiet hands. No signal, no display, just presence that remains. In dark blue calm, I hold my ground and let the world explain. I wasn't shaped for sudden ease, moments meant to quickly please. I learned my form through measured strain, but staying mattered more than gain. The load arrived, it took its place, not as a threat but as a test. I didn't brace to push it back, I let it rest against my frame. Some structures shine but fail to time, some stand tall until the line is crossed by weight they never knew they weren't prepared to carry through. But I was built from quieter days, from repetition, not from praise. Layer by layer, slow and exact, I learned to hold, not crack. Some think strength shows when pressure ends, when relief arrives, when tension bends. But mine is proven in the stay, when weight remains and doesn't sway. I was built to hold, not break, to stay intact when limits shake. I don't spin around a load, I settle in, I bear the cold. I don't collapse to feel relief or fracture just to breathe. I carry weight the way I'm made, built to hold, not break. I don't know. I've seen how force can imitate The look of strength, the sound of fate. But force runs out, it tears, it burns, while endurance quietly returns. I don't rely on sudden fire or adrenaline to rise higher. I trust the frame I form with care that knows exactly what to bear. I don't confuse flexibility with giving up integrity. I know what bends and still remains, and what must never be exchanged. I was built to hold, not break. When the strain repeats its claim, when the nights feel overlong and progress feels delayed, I don't dramatize the weight or wish my spine away. I remain steady, firm and true, built to hold, not break. If I bend, it's by design to distribute weight in time. If I pause, it's not collapse, it's structure checking gaps. I don't harden, I don't flee, I trust what was built into me. I was built to hold, not break, not flawless, not immune, but balanced in the pressure that would crush a lesser form. When the load refuses mercy and time demands its take, I stay aligned, intact, composed, built to hold, not break. No fracture shown, no weakness claimed, just dark blue calm, a reinforced frame. I don't resist, I don't escape. I was built to hold, not break. Not break. Pressure didn't change me. The way to ride and stay too long, it pressed my days, it bent the wrong, and still I woke the same inside. Not hard and not denied. I felt the strain test every scene, expose the truth beneath the skin. But what I built before the heat is what the pressure chose to me. I've seen how people shift their shape when comfort slips, when margins break, how panic redraws their lines and urgency rewrites their mind. But I don't trade my core for ease or soften truth to find release. I let the pressure clearly see it doesn't have control of me. Some think survival means reform, becoming someone else in storms. But I was formed before the test, and pressure only proved the rest. Pressure didn't change me, it showed what wouldn't move. It stripped away the surface noise and left the deeper truth. I didn't fracture, I didn't flee, I didn't rearrange me. I stayed aligned with who I was. Pressure didn't change me. I've learned that strain can be a lens, not here to end you, but a man It clarifies what truly stays when borrowed strength is burned away. I didn't need to raise my voice or prove resolve through reckless choice. I stood where I was always placed and let the weight reveal my base. I don't confuse adaptation with loss or flexibility with crossing lines. I know what bends without breaking faith and what remains unchanged by time. Pressure didn't change me when the hours closed their grip, when doubt rehearsed 1,000 ways to make me slip. I didn't bargain with my name or fracture just to breathe. I stayed consistent, calm, intact. Pressure didn't change me. If I slowed, it was by design, not retreat but discipline. If I paused, it wasn't fear, it was alignment settling in. I don't emerge reborn or new, I remain exactly true. Pressure didn't change me, not because it wasn't real, but because I chose my shape before the test revealed. When the noise dissolves away and nothing false can stay, you'll find me standing as I was. Pressure didn't change me. No transformation claim, no damage left unnamed. Just dark blue calm, a steady frame. I'll stay myself and stayed the same. I've seen calm that disappears when pressure sharpens into fear. A surface stillness thin and fast that shatters when the moment asks. But what I carry stays below, where currents move but don't expose. It isn't fragile, isn't new, it's something time itself went through. I didn't build it overnight or borrow peace from borrowed light. It came from standing long and slow, where storms repeat and lessons grow. I learned to breathe when answers stall, to stay aligned when structures fall. Not frozen, not unsure, just calm that learned to endure. Some calm depends on things going right, on silence, distance, softer nights. But mine remains when clarity blurs. It's not reactive, it endures. This is the calm that endures when relief doesn't arrive, when the weight stays put and the questions stay alive. I don't rush to feel secure, I don't need it resolved. I remain steady, clear, intact. This is the calm that endures. I've watched urgency pretend that speed is strength that hates to sense. I've seen control collapse in noise when calm was never really choice. So I refine what stays with me, quieter consistency, not an absence, not delay, but steadiness that doesn't sway. I don't confuse calm with retreat or patience with incomplete. I know the difference in the call between escape and something more. This is the calm that endures through uncertainty and strain, when nothing offers shelter and the pressure stays the same. I don't chase a better moment or dramatize the cost. I let the stillness hold its ground, no matter what is lost. If I waver, it's within, not enough to pull me in. If I pause, it's to remain present in the weight and strain. I don't harden, I don't flee, I let endurance work through me. This is the calm that endures, not untouched but well aligned, not depending on outcomes or the comfort I might find. When the night stretches its length and resolve is quietly tested, I remain composed, consistent, whole, the calm that endures. No claim of peace made loud, no signal to the crowd, just dark blue calm refined by years, still standing, still here. I've learned that questions don't always speak. Sometimes they press, sometimes they lean. They circle slow, they test my frame. They ask my truth without a name. I don't rush to fill the space where silence holds a steadier place. Not every moment needs a sound. Some answers are lived, not found. I've seen how fast explanations fade, when pressure comes, when plans degrade. Words can bend to fit the room, but actions don't escape their truth. So I move careful, slow, aligned. Let behavior speak my mind. I don't defend, I don't accuse, I answer without words. Some argue just to feel secure, some talk to hide what's unsure. But I've learned strength doesn't shout, it stands and lets time figure it out. I answer without words when the doubt is loud and near, when the room expects a sound to calm its fear. I don't raise my voice to prove, I don't sharpen every nerve, I let consistency speak slow. I answer without words. There are moments built to test how much restraint survives unrest, when reaction feels like truth and silence feels like losing proof. But I don't trade depth for speed or calm for instant relief. I let my choices hold their form long after arguments are won. I don't confuse quiet with retreat or stillness with defeat. I know exactly what I show. When I don't say what I know, I answer without words. When provocation draws a line, when pressure asks for something sharp and pulls at every sign, I don't dramatize my stance or seek to be observed. I let alignment do the work. I answer without words. If I'm questioned, I remain. If I'm tested, I don't strain. I don't need the final say. I trust the weight of how I stay. Truth doesn't rush to be heard. It waits intact, unblurred. I answer without words, not hidden, not withdrawn, but grounded in a steady way that doesn't need a song. When the noise dissolves itself and only action surfaces first, you'll know exactly where I stand. I answer without words. No echo chase, no line rehearsed, just dark blue calm, deliberate and sure. I don't explain, I demonstrate, I answer without words. The ground beneath me doesn't promise ease, it only asks for honesty. I've learned to feel where I belong, not where the crowd is moving on. The noise can rise, the pace can bend, but I don't follow every trend. I set my feet, I draw the line, firm ground beneath a quiet mind. I've watched confusion grow from speed, from chasing every urgent need. Thoughts collide, directions blur, when silence isn't on at first. So I slow down, I let things land, I choose control over demand. I don't escape, I don't rewind, firm ground, steady, quiet mind. Something calm comes after peace, after answers, after release. But mine is built before the storm, a place where pressure loses form. Firm ground, quiet mind, when the world pulls left and right, when opinions overlap and clarity feels out of sight. I don't force a louder thought, I don't rush to redefine. I stay rooted where I stand, firm ground, quiet mind. I've learned a mind reflects the base. You can't stand tall on borrowed space. If footing slips, the noise takes hold, and doubt begins to multiply. So I reinforce what's underneath, my values, breath, my inner speech. Not rigid, not confined, just firm ground and a quiet mind. I don't confuse silence with pause, or stillness with a lack of cause. I know the calm I choose to keep is active, focused, clear and deep. Firm ground, quiet mind, when the pressure tests my frame. If I question, I do it slow, not to doubt, but truly know. If I pause, it's not retreat, it's alignment, finding feet. I don't sharpen every thought, I let precision do its work. Firm ground, not mine, not untouched by strain or weight, but steady through uncertainty, and disciplined and stay when the world demands reaction and speed pretends to shine. I remain rooted, calm and clear, firm ground, quiet mind. No echo chase, no space misplaced, just dark blue calm, a steady spine. I stand where thought is still and true. Firm ground, quiet mind. The wind didn't ask for permission, it tore through plans and precision. The sky collapsed in a noise, every direction lost its voice. I felt the pull of sudden strain, the chaos pressing at my frame. But I didn't rush, I didn't run, I stayed exactly where I was. Some confused calm with being numb, or think control means feeling none. But composure isn't shutting down, it's choosing stillness when things drown. I've learned the storm will test your breath, invite reaction off a thread, but I refuse to let it fall. I stay composed inside the storm. Some let the noise decide their speed, some let the pressure take the lead, but I slow down where others swarm. That's how I stay composed in storms. I'm composed in the storm. When the ground won't stay aligned, when the sky collapses form, and confusion fills the mind, I don't match the chaos tone, I don't let it set the norm. I hold my center breath by breath, compose in a storm. I've seen how panic wears a mask and calls itself an urgent task. How quick reactions feel like strength until they fracture at full length. So I stay measured, slow, exact. I choose response over impact. I don't deny the pressure's force, I simply don't let it take course. I don't expect the storm to care or soften edges I must bear. I trust the calm I slowly form that keeps me clear inside the storm. I'm composed in the storm. When the night feels undefined, when the noise demands a form and pulls at every line, I don't search for shelter fast or run from what is wrong. I stay upright, intact, aware, composed in the storm. If I shake, it's deep within, not enough to pull me in. back, not frozen, not withdrawn, just steady in the impact. When the world reacts in waves and loses shape and form, I remain clear, restrained, precise. Composing the storm. Just dark blue calm, unmoved, unformed. The storm will pass, I will remain composed, unchanged. The way to ride without a sound, no warning sign, no turning round. It didn't ask if I was ready, it only tested if I was steady. I felt it settle in my frame, not sharp with anger, not with blame, just pressure doing what it does, revealing who I've always was. Oh. Some speak their strain before they move, some need the world to feel the proof. But I've learned silence carries more than explanations ever could before. I don't reject what I must bear, I don't announce that it is there. I adjust my stance, align my view, and let the weight move straight through. Some think endurance means denial or breaking slowly with a smile, but I don't suffer, I comply with purpose chosen, clarified. I carry weight without complaint, not because it doesn't ache, but because I know the shape of what it's asking me to make. I don't curse the load I chose, I don't dramatize the strain. I move forward calm and clear, wait without complaint. I've seen how bitterness can grow when people fight what they must hold. How resentment slowly bends what patience could have helped transcend. So I keep my breath composed, I let resistance be exposed. Not in anger, not in blame, but in how quietly I remain. I don't confuse release with strength or loud resistance with resolve. I trust the long unbroken path that discipline evolves. I carry weight without complaint through the long and narrow days when relief feels far away, effort seems to stay. I don't ask the Lord to leave or bargain with the pain. I let it shape my spine and steps. Wait without complaint. If I pause, it's not to plead, it's to listen, to proceed. If I slow, it's not to fall, it's to make sure I stand tall. I don't wear endurance thin, I let it root itself within. I carry weight without complaint, not to prove, not to perform, but because I know this pressure is the place where I'm reformed. When the world demands a voice to justify the strain, I answer with consistency. Wait without complaint. I didn't learn to stand by sound, but by the noise that circled around. I learned it in the quiet strain, where nothing speaks yet nothing breaks. No echo taught me how to stay. It was the nights that had no shape, when breath was slow, resolve was tense. The silence formed my spine and says, Some build their strength from being seen, from words that sharpen what they mean. But I was shaped in muted rooms where thought outweighed the urge to move. I don't announce the weight I bear, I hold it steady, stripped and bare. Not fragile, not confined, just a spine made of silence. Some speak to feel their footing firm, some need response to feel confirmed. But I've learned balance doesn't lean on sound, it stands in between. I stand with a spine made of silence, not hollow, not afraid. I don't need noise for my defiance, or proof that I stay. When the pressure closes in and words begin to bend, I don't answer with a voice, I stand unshaken. Opinions twist and turn, and louder voices fail to learn that shouting doesn't equal weight, and noise can't substitute for faith. So I remain where truth is still, where choices test the force of will. I don't collapse, I don't retreat, I let restraint support my feet. I don't confuse a lack of sound with weakness or being bound. I know exactly what I hold when everything else is sold. I stand with a spine made of silence, through pressure and delay. I don't perform my compliance or explain my way. I don't sharpen every doubt, I don't seek defense. I let consistency speak slow, with a spine made of silence. If I bend, it's with control. If I pause, it's to stay whole. I don't armor up with noise, I trust the strength of chosen poise. Silence isn't what I lack, it's what ensures I don't collapse. I stay. I stand with a spine made of silence, not rigid but aligned, not absent, not defiant, just deeply grounded, fine. When the world demands a sound to prove I still exist, I remain exactly as I am. ground feels thicker under my feet. Every step asks what I'm willing to keep. The air grows dense, the light turns low. This is the pace I've come to know. No warning sign, no steady hand, just weight that teaches how to stand. I don't ask why it chose me, I answer by remaining steady. Pressure speaks in a silent way. It tests the shape of what will stay. Some bend early, some escape, some trade their death to feel less weight. But I stay where the burden lands, learning who I am when it demands. No promise made to feel at ease, only the choice to not release. I've seen how fast conviction fades when comfort calls, when fear persuades. So I root myself in what is true and let the heaviness pass through. I'm standing when it's heavy, when the night refuses rest, when the load is pressing steady against my chest. I don't need it lighter, I don't need it gone. I build my strength by staying here when everything feels wrong. I carry days I cannot share, thoughts too measured for despair. Now broken, just aware that staying costs more than repair. I've learned endurance isn't loud, it doesn't bow, it isn't proud. It simply holds, it simply stays. While storms exhaust their need to rage, I don't confuse the weight with loss, a stillness with a line I've crossed. I know the price of standing tall is facing pressure without a fall. I'm standing when it's heavy, when the answers don't arrive, when the dark moves slow and steady, I stay alive. I don't ask for rescue, I don't ask for signs. I let the moment press its truth into these bones of mine. If I tremble, it's unseen. If I struggle, it's within. No collapse, no retreat, just breathe beneath the strain I meet. I don't resist, I don't pretend, I let the weight define the bend. Oh, I'm standing when it's heavy, not because it's easy now, but because I made a vow to stay somehow. When the ground demands my name and tests the core of who I am, I remain unchanged, upright, standing where it's heavy. No victory parade, no mark upon my face, just quiet strength that learned to grow by staying.